Toy Story has been a part of my life ever since I was born, and I may not have grown up with the original film from 1995, considering the fact that it was made 2 years before I was born. I was there for Toy Story 2 and the start of one of my favorite childhood shows, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. In fact, I was so much of a fan of the original character of Buzz Lightyear that for Halloween one year, my grandma made me this costume that I wore for Halloween. Those were simpler times, weren't they? I know we are all excited to see Captain America take on Buzz Lightyear later this month, but this got me thinking about the original film once again. Back in the early 2000s, Toy Story 2 was a humongous hit, and naturally, when you put in things like Zerg and a whole aisle of Buzz Lightyear toys in your movie, chances are that we would be getting a spin-off film that would be a direct-to-VHS/DVD film, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, The Adventure Begins. I guess I haven't really covered the topic of the direct-to-home media Disney films yet, so let's just be brief with the introduction. But the problem was that they were too busy making big theatrical films that they didn't have the time or the hands to make the sequels and spin-off films they wanted to make. So they sent it off to their television animation division, who would put out films like Return to Jafar and The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. Now, most of these films were cheaply animated, and mostly paled in comparison to their predecessors, but sometimes the sequels could stand on their own. Films like The Lion King 2's Simba's Pride actually stands out for me. Now, the reason why these films were cheap to make was because a lot of them were made as backdoor pilots for Disney Channel's animated content. Like Return to Jafar acted like the pilot to the Aladdin animated show, and likewise with today's topic, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Up until 2013, with the release of Planes, this film was the only real spin-off of any of the Pixar films. The Buzz Lightyear movie first came out as a direct-to-video film and originally had Patrick Warburton as Buzz Lightyear, but they found that if they put in Tim Allen, people would buy up the film in droves. Thankfully, the show itself put back Patrick Warburton when the film aired on television as a 3-episode pilot of the show. But the thing that some people miss when actually discussing this movie is that Patrick Warburton is not actually gone from the movie. He's the voice of the LGMs.
But XR is perfect for you.
Trying to do this video today has been arduous at best, because trying to find this movie digitally is harder than anything. It's not on any streaming service. It's not on Disney Plus. It's not on Google Play. It's not on Apple. It's not on iTunes. It's just not on anything. Of course, you could probably find a DVD rip on YouTube if you want, but honestly, Disney Plus should have this on their platform. It's like based off of their flagship title from Pixar, Toy Story. But I just gotta ask you something, Disney. Why can't you have this movie on your platform? Why can't you have it on Disney Plus? And on top of that, why not add things like The House of Mouse or Fillmore? You know, the good shit. I mean, if The Little Mermaid animated series can be on your streaming platform, then surely you can actually find it easy to put a television show like Buzz Lightyear Star Command onto your service. I mean, hell, it's like the easiest marketing move you could do for the new Lightyear movie coming out soon. Oh, what's that? You have a new movie? Lightyear? Oh, look at that. A new show on Disney Plus? Oh, wait, it's the Star Command show. Hey, guys, check it out. You know, it's easy marketing to, it's synergy. Disney's all about corporate synergy. Why wouldn't they do this? Because I don't know if you know this, Disney, but finding a copy of this particular movie that won't body my wallet is rare to find to me, let alone a copy that isn't scratched. And thankfully, after trying so hard to find a worthwhile copy, I purchased this for about 20 bucks. Now the thing is that I was lucky. Because this film is out of print, it is harder to find. You can't find this on Amazon for a decent price. You can't find this on eBay for a decent price. I mean, you can find it on eBay for a decent price, but sometimes I've seen this thing go up for $50 if it's like brand new in wrap. But thankfully, I found a pre-owned copy that is not as scratched and is actually fairly clean. And I'm glad that I found this DVD copy, because otherwise we'd be doing old VHS clips from my screen all day. It would just be the camera pointed at my TV. Yeah. That's how arduous this was. Getting to look at a copy as pristine as this one is a rarity nowadays. Opening up the box, we have the disc, which is in great condition. But what was really cool is finding the stuff that is not in the movie. I remember back in the day getting some Disney DVDs, and it would come with this random junk like the savings book that has ads for Disney Adventures magazine and coupons for this Buzz Lightyear CD-ROM game, and some movies being sold at the time. Ooh, the Tigger movie. It's been a while since I've watched that one. I wonder how good it is. Kenny Loggins is right. Your heart does lead you home. Rock on, Tigger, rock on! Also fittingly in this book, there are battery coupons as well. Could have saved that Buzz Lightyear in the video game in Toy Story 2 a life if he knew about supermarkets. And of course, the last ad here is an ad for classic Disney Channel with Tailspin and Goof Troop. Personally, I was more of a Darkwing Duck kind of guy, but you know, people gonna like what they like. Also, remember these little things? I thought it was cool that Disney would give out these point tickets for their movie rewards program, but my family never really took part in that kind of stuff. Nowadays, I just use Disney Movie Club to order the movies that I have, but think about mailing in your order, having to submit that kind of stuff through the mail and then waiting weeks on months to just get a VHS copy of Bambi. Enough gawking at the old ads, and let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. The movie itself. The movie is fine. A bit generic at times, but there is a lot that I like. I think the part of the movie that just kind of feels generic to me is the inciting incident. It's the fact that Buzz Lightyear goes full cop movie after his totally not evil at all partner Warp Dark Matter is quote-unquote killed off in the beginning of the LGM rescue sequence. Buzz in this movie is a closed-off character that has to learn to work with others. It's pretty much a standard character arc for this type of thing. It's a fairly generic plotline to follow, but within that plot we get a lot of fun stuff out of it. I think each of the potential partners we meet in the film, each of them have their own unique qualities. XR is a robot that is just so full of sarcasm after getting wrecked and rebuilt.
Whoosh! Whoosh! Look out for the asteroids, XR!
Yeah, whoosh, zoom, whatever, Booster.
Booster is a fanboy, plain and simple. This is a guy who studies the rulebook to a T. To me, he is just kind of a fine character. Not my favorite of the trio that's introduced here, but he isn't that bad. But the biggest addition is Miranova, who proves to be a pretty good foil for Buzz Lightyear as a full-spirited person who was inspired to join Star Command after Buzz saved her planet from Zerg. You can also see what happened in the comic that is also included with the DVD. She also has some fairly unique abilities to go through walls and squeeze brains to knock people out.
Good night.
Tangent brain squeeze.
But out of all the things that make this film worth it to me, it's Zerg. I mean, come on. Zerg is amazing in this movie.
Good morning, lackeys. Where's my new henchman?
They are arming him now, sir.
Does he have a flamethrower? Remember last time? A flamethrower would have really come in handy.
Tension feels about right.
His introduction is one of my favorite character introductions as it gives a sense of fun as a misdirect. It has a classic rule of three with 3 fake-outs of him because you expect something serious, but it's just his henchmen worrying about what Zerg will think, but once Zerg shows up, he ends up torturing people. I think the thing that makes this character fun for me is just how much fun Zerg is having doing what he does. Just being evil and wanting to take over the galaxy. It's just kind of simple. And all of this comes from a great performance from Wayne Knight. And I don't know how he pulls it off. He can be both funny and menacing at the same time. Wayne Knight is just truly a treasure in this movie.
Fire! Zergatronic Mega Ray!
Firing Zergorific Ray.
Zergatronic, you lackwits!
Sorry.
The animation here, however, as mentioned before with a lot of these directed VHS DVD films, the animation is just definitely made for television, but it isn't all that bad to me. I think this is probably one of the more stronger entries I've seen, aside from, well, obviously the competition is Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, and I'm not going to show you a single frame from that movie. Just saving you a click. The film's big theme is love conquers hate, and that comes in the form of the Unimind. The Unimind in this universe is a unifying object that the LGMs use to connect with each other and be one. Once Zerg has it in his clutches, he uses it in the form of uniting with Zerg's mind and becoming all evil all over the galaxy. How does this work exactly? No one knows. But once Buzz is shoved into the Unimind at the end, his inherent goodness fixes the Unimind, and ultimately breaks the connection between Zerg and those he had under his control. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd ending, but hey, it's a TV pilot. What are you gonna do? And that is what Buzz Lightyear Star Command The Adventure Begins is, as I said it was. The film is an elaborate way to market the TV show for later in the year 2000, when it was released. What also adds on to this is that if you purchase the DVD, the film comes with a trivia game where you try and identify all the villains of the show. The weird thing here is that the show itself wouldn't even be out for another few months after the film's public release on the store shelves, so you're about as likely to get all the questions right on the first try as this weirdo is about getting a date. Hey! And plus, what's there not to love when you have a former captain of the Enterprise singing your theme song?
To infinity and beyond, we will sing this song. So say goodbye. Now it's time to fly to infinity and beyond.
And those are my thoughts on Buzz Lightyear A Star Command The Adventure Begins, the only Buzz Lightyear film to come out. I said the only one, damn it! Yes, we are getting a new Buzz Lightyear movie soon, and many people have been trying to figure out how this fits into the mythos of Toy Story. Unlike Star Command, where it was clearly shown at the beginning that the film, as well as the TV show, is in the same universe as Toy Story as a sort of Saturday morning cartoon sort of thing. Here, with Lightyear, it's a bit confusing because at first I heard the film was meant to show the real-life person that inspired the toy. But according to Pete Docter, the Lightyear is going to be a film that would have been a film that Andy would have seen. And according to the film's director, Angus MacLane, it is Andy's version of Star Wars. So, to really clarify here, Lightyear is a movie in Andy's world that inspires the toy and an animated series that we see the start of in Buzz Lightyear Star Command? I mean, I guess that makes more sense now. That's kind of like when Star Wars was a big thing and then they made the Ewok show and the Droids animated show. Like, that's kind of how I kind of figure this whole thing works in the world of Toy Story. And look, I'm excited for Lightyear, regardless of whether or not it fits into any specific canon in the Toy Story universe, and really, what even is canon anyway? Canon has changed a lot and is dependent on who is making and who is receiving. But if it's one thing that has been consistent and will always be consistent, the only way we can go is to infinity and beyond. Thank you guys so much for watching my video on Buzz Lightyear Star Command The Adventure Begins. And I have one simple question for you. What would you like to see added to Disney Plus if you could? Is there any television shows you remember as a kid that is not on the platform that you would love to see on there? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll be sure to see you guys when I review all of Tribeca. Thank you, and I'll see you then. Peace.